everybody, welcome to JAIIB English Medium channel. I hope all of you are doing fine. Today, in this particular session, we'll be talking about the unit number 5 and 6 of IE and IFS. Via the quick revision series, we are doing a simple task. All the important topics of each unit we are clubbing together, forming the questions for you, and ultimately explaining them via the most expected questions. Fine, the concepts we'll be learning via the questions. So if you are a student who wants to crack the examination of JAB in May 2026, then definitely this series will help you out. Also, one important fact that the PDF is available freely on our virtual library. So once the session is over, you can go and download the PDF also. Fine. So now let's try to solve some questions, and based on these questions only, we'll be learning some new concepts. First question states that India's largest infrastructure investment program with more than 100 billion US dollar incorporated under PM Gati Shakti plan developing industrial corridor projects. Which initiative best describes this? So we are talking about the infrastructure investment program. And you must be knowing that in India, we have the flagship program wherein $100 billion has been sanctioned. What is the name of that program? Not only the program talks about the overall improvement in the infrastructure, but also for the specific task as well. We are talking about the Bharatmala Pariyojana. Fine. So the right answer will be option C. C is the right answer here. Okay. Here you can see that the correct answer is C. And when we talk about the largest infrastructure investment program in our country, it is Bharatmala Pariyojana. Not only it is having the funding of $100 billion, but also it has been incorporated under the PM Gati Shakti plan. This PM Gati Shakti plan is talking about what? It simply talks about the most important aspect, that is implementation. Fine. In India, our infrastructure development lags behind thanks to the lack of implementation, and this has been rectified via the PM Gati Shakti plan. That at every stage you must know that what kind of implementation, what is the stage, what is the phase in which your project is for the implementation. Then Bharatmala Pariyojana will develop the national corridors and industrial corridor projects also, which will ultimately create world-class manufacturing hubs. So the most important part is that Bharatmala Pariyojana is the India's largest infrastructure investment program. Very important to know for our examination. Then we have Parvatmala Pariyojana also, which talks about what? The ropeways. Fine. Via the ropeways, we are establishing the mode of communication, mode of transportation on the hills. Fine. The hilly areas of our country. Fine. Next, we have the performance linked incentive also, the PLI scheme, wherein 14 important sectors have been identified that if you are producing in these 14 sectors, then we will be providing you some incentives. So ultimate focus is to create jobs, to make the Indian youth employed. Next question. India's ambitious renewable energy target is for achieving dash from the non-fossil sources by 2030. So when you talk about the important targets which has been provided by the Indian government via the NDC, Nationally Determined Contribution, one most important target is this ambitious target of renewable energy. And what is the you can say amount of renewable energy we are looking for, whether it is 500 gigawatt, 200 gigawatt, 300, or none of the above. So the right answer again is 500 gigawatt. Mostly you will find that in the exam they have time and again asked the same question, that what is the ambitious target when we say about the renewable energy in India. So we have to do what? uh, Revolve around this particular target only, because ultimately if your renewable energy target is fulfilled, ultimate power of the other sectors will also improve, and ultimately we will be able to achieve the overall target as well. So right now for our country, the most important one is by 2030 we must achieve the 500 gigawatt energy from the renewable sources. India targets 500 gigawatt of energy from non-fossil fuel sources by 2030. This is part of India's updated nationally determined contribution under the Paris Agreement, aiming for 50% of the total energy from renewables. Fine. So if you increase your capacity here, it will ultimately benefit you to achieve this 50% of the total energy from renewables target as well. Next question. Now let's talk about the Department of Telecommunication, which has under the PPP model, public-private partnership model, launched the Tarang Sanchar, which is a web portal for what? So very important question. Students often ignore such type of topics, but IIBF has this habit of asking the questions from such topics only. So what will be the right answer here? Quickly tell me. Whenever we say that Department of Telecom is involved, so you must be knowing that uh, what all we will be talking about. So providing the broadband connectivity, no, Tarang Sanchar does not talk about the broadband connectivity. Applications like e-health, e-education, e-governance, again not. Sharing information on EMF emission compliances, the electromagnetic field emission compliances, that is the important aspect of your Tarang Sanchar. What is a Tarang? Basically, it means waves, and Sanchar means transmission. So the transmission of these waves will be ultimately governed by the Tarang Sanchar portal. They will be monitoring via the Tarang Sanchar portal. So B will be the right answer. Fine. Tarang Sanchar is a DOT, Department of Telecommunications web portal that lets citizens check the mobile tower radiation data and EMF emission compliances, addressing the public concern about telecom infrastructure radiation. So earlier, when the government was expanding your mobile network, then the towers were installed at various locations, and people were very much apprehensive about their health, that these towers will be emitting some harmful waves, fine, the EMF waves. So in order to give them a positive direction, that yes, this is to facilitate you, not to harm your health, the Department of Telecom has come up with the portal of Tarang Sanchar, where you can directly see that whether the waves are harming you or not. Which among the following is the aim of Amrut being implemented by the government of India? So we have Amrut mission for what? You must remember some important projects and their aims, because ultimately IIBF will ask you from the aim only. They don't ask big questions based on these schemes, but basic questions are will be there. So to help the MSMEs upgrade their technology, no talk of MSME whatsoever. To transform urban living conditions through infrastructure upgradation. Yes, that is what we are talking about. Only about the urban living conditions via Amrut. Okay. So the right answer is option B. Amrut, what is the full form? That also you must remember. Atal Mission for Rejuvenation and Urban Transformation. Ultimately, it aims to improve the urban infrastructure, water supply, sewage, transport, and make Indian cities more livable and sustainable. So the aim, at least the aim must be known to you of all the major schemes and the full form as well. Atal Mission for Rejuvenation and Urban Transformation. Next comes another important question based on the renewable energy capacity of our country. The ranking of India in solar energy power generation capacity is dash. Second, fourth, third, or fifth. India ranks fifth in case of solar energy generation power. Okay. So yes, very important. Again, an important question, because the rankings will be asked in the examination. So when we say that India is fifth, then who are the top four? So India ranks fifth globally in the solar energy generation capacity. The top four are China, USA, Japan, and Germany. India is one of the fastest growing solar market and targets 280 gigawatt solar by 2030. So out of that 500 gigawatt target, we have a sub target for the solar energy generation, that is 280 gigawatt by the same year, that is 2030. So all these things you must remember, because such simple aspects will be asked in the examination. The rankings you must remember, the schemes, their aim, and the full form. Now let's talk about another full form here. ESG is considered as the modern dimension of corporate social responsibility. What does E stands for in ESG? So when we say ESG, E stands for what? What does S stands for and G? All the three, do let me know in the comment section. Fine. Here though it is they are asking only E, but do let me know what does your S and G stands for. So E stands for ethical, or elementary, environmental, or export. So definitely E stands for environmental, because we are talking about something related to society. So environmental will be the right answer. That is option B. Here E stands for environmental, S for social, G for governance. And ultimately you will find that environmental is the most important aspect. Why? Because it evaluates the company's carbon footprint. Whosoever company is doing any business activity, then what is the carbon footprint of that particular company? What is the energy use of that particular company? Waste management, how they are managing their waste, and the impact on the nature. Whatever the waste they are emitting, what is its impact on the nature? ESG is used by investors to assess the long-term sustainability as well. Whether you will be able to sustain for a longer run, environmentally sustain for a longer run or not. So very important component in case of ESG is your environmental. Rest, when we talk about social, it more or less talks about the society all only, how the social norms must be there for the corporates, fine, because it is just the modern dimension of corporate social responsibility. So all the social responsibilities must also be bestowed within the corporate. Then lastly, the governance, how the company's governance fares, fine, the company's decision making will be done by whom, and ultimately whether these companies decisions have a direct impact on the society or not, fine. So all these things you must remember for the examination. Now, before moving further to more questions, let's just have a look on the timetable. Fine, when we talk about the JAIIB May 2026 examination, this series which we are running has a fixed timetable. From Monday till Saturday, you will find the classes on regular basis. 6 p.m. you have AFM class, 6:30 IIFS, 7 p.m. you have the class of RBWM, and 7:30 will be the PPB class. So save this timetable if you have not saved yet, and do follow us for more details. Fine, keep on visiting the channel, because ultimately we are coming up with n number of sessions so that you guys can benefit from all of these. And for all of you who are curious about the uh, courses, the batches which we have at ADA 247, you can directly contact us on the number 0981 981 9247. And let me just tell you that right now we have huge deals, good offers on the Mahapack. Fine, Mahapack has a very you can say lucrative offer right now, wherein you will get the forex validity. Along with that, you will also get the huge discounts of 82%. And how you will be able to avail this discount of 82% right now? Just by applying the discount code Y1003. So a very important note for all of you if you want to enroll in the classes. Further, if you want to have any kind of detail, feel free to call us on the number 0981 981 9247. Now let's talk about the remaining questions. Whenever the question pertains to some type of, you can say, schemes, then it automatically becomes important. But what about those questions which are asked from the schemes but are related with some other topic as well, like this one? Here we are talking about one scheme, but this topic is related with some other topic which we will be learning in the unit number 10th, sustainable development goal 4. But since this is specifically mentioned in the scheme, that's why the question is here. Dash is aligned with the 2030 agenda for sustainable development via SDG 4. So which of the following is aligned with the 2030 agenda? Whether it is the Ayushman Bharat Health Infrastructure Mission, the ABHIM is having no roots whatsoever in case of sustainable development goal. Although Good health is one of the SDG, but not SDG 4. SDG 4 talks about what? If we do the reverse engineering, you will find that SDG 4 is for the education. Fine, for education, we have the SDG 4. So directly, you can answer as option C. National Education Policy 2020 has taken some inputs from the SDG 4 as well. So C is the right answer here. Fine. NEP, the National Education Policy 2020, aligns with SDG 4, inclusive and equitable quality education for all. So keep this thing in mind because they can ask directly in the examination that what is the quality of education in case of SDG 4. So equal, you can say, education as well as maintaining the quality is one of the agenda here. It reformed India's curriculum structure also. Earlier, it was only the national education policy of your 19th century was only for the, you can say, lower years, fine, the initial years, and then middle years and the higher education years. But now we have good bifurcation of the preschooling as well. Now it emphasizes on the foundational literacy also, vocational training also, and the universal education access as well. So all these things have been included in the NEP 2020, which is having direct reference of SDG 4 as well. Okay, now let's talk about the question from your globalization chapter. The process of reducing the trade dependency and integration amongst the particular units throughout the world is known as dash. So when we talk about that the trade dependency is reducing and we are trying to integrate the entire process, then will be talking about what? The process of reducing the trade dependency and reducing the integration amongst the particular units throughout the world. So we are talking about something which is opposite to globalization, because in globalization we have seen that two things are important. First, we will be having some trade dependency on some other country. Secondly, we will be having the integration of economies. Fine, interconnectedness of the economies across the globe will be the salient feature of globalization. And here we are talking about in this in this line, we are talking about the complete opposite of globalization. So what is the complete opposite? Protectionism, tariff barriers, deglobalization, or any of the above? A very, very confusing question. And this question, if you can answer, then I would say that yes, you have completely understood the concept of globalization. So the right answer is option B or D? The right answer is option B, deglobalization. Fine. You cannot say that any of the above, because in any of the above, we have protectionism also. And protectionism is not a process where you are reducing the trade dependency. No, it is a particular process where you frame some law which will back the process of deglobalization. That is protectionism. Fine. So, yes, the right answer will be option B here. Deglobalization is a specific term for process of reducing the trade dependency, global economic integration, which is completely the opposite of globalization. Protectionism and tariff barriers, these are the tools used within this process, not the process itself. Fine. So the ultimate process is deglobalization, and how you implement the process of deglobalization via the protectionism or the protectionist measures, and via the tariff barriers, that you start levying huge amount of taxes on the other countries. Okay, now let's see the last question of today's class. Which organization popularized the globalization concept in mid 1980s? So the globalization concept, more or less, it is there since the age of discovery, and ultimately it got hit after the World War II. Fine, World War II. You can imagine a scenario where every country is against this another country, and ultimately nobody wants to trade with some country. So in effect, we are talking about what? More or less globalization itself for deglobalization. We are talking about deglobalization process where we are reducing the trade dependency, reducing the integration among the countries. Why? Because of the wars. And right now also the Iran war, which is ongoing in the Gulf region, there also the same thing is happening, right? So nonetheless, there is a very famous organization which ultimately renewed the concept of globalization in mid 1980s after it got hit by the World War II. So whether it was World Trade Organization, IMF, OECD, or UNCTAD, the right answer is OECD. B is the right answer. Do remember this because Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development ultimately popularized the globalization in the mid 1980s, and it was solely responsible for doing away the deglobalization process in the mid 1980s by promoting open markets, free trade, economic integration. When we talk about the WTO, what does it handles? It simply handles the trade rules, right? The role of WTO is handling the trade rules once they are set. IMF more or less provides you with the money, right? So monetary cooperation will be the task, the primary task of IMF. UNCTAD is for development of the trade. Fine. Once the trade ties are there, how you will be developing them. That is the ultimate goal of UNCTAD. But OECD more or less talks about the initial step, the first step, wherein we are talking about the economic cooperation and economic development. Fine. So yes, this was it for today's class. I hope that you were able to understand most of the questions and you got 9 out of 9. Fine. That is my expectation. But do let me know that what is your score out of this particular number, whether you have scored 100% or 8 out of 9, 7 out of 9. Do let me know in the comment section. Fine. So yes, if you have any doubt, feel free to ask me, else we can conclude the class. And again, let me just remind you that right now the sale is ongoing. The huge offers are there, discounts are there on the Mahapack. So do call us on this number and have your queries addressed. Additionally, you can download the mobile application from App Store as well as Google Play in order to have the coins in your app and ultimately using these coins to have the huge discounts. Fine. So this was it for today's session. We'll see you guys in the next class. Till then, goodbye everybody. Take care and do revise whatever we have studied.